down the street or go to the park, you know who's to blame? Serco. Ask yourself another question. Where are all the women and children? Surely if there was such a bad situation and a war going on, it's usually the women and children first policy. Whenever there's been a refugee stream at any point in history, it's those that can't fight that leave. The men stay to fight for their country. Have a look on a map and ask yourself, where are all these war-torn countries that are all these migrant men are playing from?
You have shown more hostility to the protesters than the man who butchered 3 young girls. Traitor. And the reason why, Starmer, is because you and all the parties, and the civil service, the criminal justification system, the social services, the police, the school teachers and the universities, all of the establishment, you're all racist bigots who judge people by the colour of their skin. You have bought into hateful racial ideologies. The government, the state itself, and all the political parties are racist, top to bottom. And it's not racist of me to call you out on your racism, Das Starmer. Britain does not have a far-right problem. Britain has a problem with a dominant liberal class that for years ignored legitimate concerns over economic injustice, crime and migration, and is now experiencing a blowback. And as people pointed out, this guy is a leftist. This is a trade unionist. So are leftists now far-right, Starmer? Now he's dealing with white people, Stalinist Starmer has finally found his spine. Labour hates the working class. Could have told you that years ago. Oh look, more people who are far-right. This guy definitely looks far-right to me. Let's have a listen, shall we?
Thank you for the pay rise. Thank you for the pay rise.
Should be going down though now. The country's such a fucking mess. Maybe you guys will have to turn to some crime to make them.
You're not doing anything wrong. We're watching.
Peaceful protesters were being arrested.
You just run into me. You've just all. I've got a pacemaker. I've got a pacemaker. I've got a pacemaker. And they've just arrested me for walking up here.
No, to reach the section 35.
Oh, because of their. You want to do them any tighter?
That's why I'm trying to lock them so they can stop getting tight.
Well, actually, you're really tightening them.
Well, I'm not.
You really are tightening them, and you're really making me. You what?
So can you relax?
You joking?
5 seconds.
Are you joking? I've never been arrested in my life.
Madam.
I have, don't you miss, don't you. I have never been arrested in my life. I'm 73 years old. And I have come here because of them babies who's died. And I am being arrested.
You were crushing the peaceful protesters under your jackboot. You were silencing legitimate protests and arresting people outside Downing Street.
What would we be arrested for if we were to go in the road?
What would we be arrested for again? Breach of the section 14 of public order. There are conditions imposed on this demonstration. We're not.
So certain for today, is it, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It should be explained where you are allowed and where you're not allowed.
Can you tell me I've just arrived?
That's fine.
No road?
What about Palestine protesters? Do they get the same
Meant to be
treatment?
on, I think, that side of the road or just not in the road.
Not in the road? Okay. Is there a warning? Someone walks in there, do you warn them first or just take them?
You've had your warning now. Yeah, if someone's in the road...
If it gets busy and someone's pushed in?
It's all been communicated to everyone in this area.
Okay.
You're nicking people for nothing, too.
Yeah.
So if people breach that, then
You're sticking people to fuck off.
Yeah, fair enough.
You won't stop us anyway. Give us what you want.
A few moments later.
Yep.
You're under arrest at the moment for breaching section 14 of the public order act, mate.
Sorry?
You're under arrest at the moment for breaching section 14 of the public order act.
I haven't breached anything.
Okay, so you do not have to say anything, but may harm the person if you don't mention any questions.
Hey!
Sorry,
for what?
that, mate.
Yeah, what have I done wrong?
Okay, I'll explain to you
I
after.
stayed on the pavement. I've stayed on the pavement, mate.
I appreciate it. They wanted people off the pavement as well, so...
Yeah, I asked him, should I go? And he said stay there. You said you're okay for a
At the
minute.
moment you're under arrest, so let me deal with that, alright?
You did say to me, I'm okay there, right?
I didn't personally, no.
No, when I said, what is he reading, everybody?
Listen, under arrest, I've just been given instructions, alright?
Right.
Simple as, alright? I know you're calm, letting you hold
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere, mate.
Where's Jamie? Where's Jamie?
I wasn't told to move off the pavement, though. Yeah, I wasn't told to move off the pavement.
Everyone's dispersed off the pavement.
Oh, I'll go then. I'll go. I was on the pavement.
You're under arrest, mate. You're under arrest, mate.
Sorry? Okay. Where am I going? Okay.
It was for this reason, you once again silencing the people, that led to the riots across the rest of the country. The people do not feel as though you are listening to them, and you're not. You are censoring us, you are silencing us. The government's response here, and prior to this in the decades leading up to this, was clearly the catalyst for the riots.
We're here because we're concerned. We're here because we're fathers. We're here because we're mothers. We're here because we're grandfathers and grandmothers. Knife crime is out of control. Something has to give. Seriously. You guys are dealing with it at the forefront. You have the ability.
But I will give you some credit, Mr. Starmer. You somehow managed to unite the Irish. This is incredible. Catholics and Protestants are quite literally marching shoulder to shoulder in Belfast, Northern Ireland, as they demand an end to mass immigration. When these two communities are putting their differences aside and coming together, you know you've messed up. This is literally a historic moment.
That's a fire one. Stand down, hold. Stand down, hold. Stand down, hold. Stand down.
Yeah, pedos off our streets. Pedos out. Pedos out. Out, out, out. The news will tell you there was probably 100 people here. We beg to differ. Yeah, you the lads. Yeah. Look at this. That's a fucking beautiful thing, boys. Look at that.
As this man says, these two have been fighting my entire life, and then some. Congratulations, globalists. You've brought peace to an unending conflict by becoming the villains. I genuinely cannot believe that you managed to unite the Irish in their hatred of you. Like, what's next? Like, are the Welsh going to rise up because you tried to pass the killer off as a Welshman? Why don't you just do what your hero did and invade Poland? I mean, there's no reason not to at this point. But seriously though, people are up in arms, and you're not only ignoring them, but you're suppressing them. Yes, the sheeple might still fall for the propaganda, but the rest of us are seeing the overreach. Here you are sending in the stormtroopers to beat up the working class people in the Labour strongholds of Liverpool, Rochdale, Manchester, Huddersfield, Sunderland and so on. These are the Labour Party strongholds. These are your people, Starmer, and you're brutalising them, Starmer. They're upset not just for the girls murdered and stabbed in Southport, but for the children they've seen destroyed in their own towns and cities, as your party, your government, did nothing. You censor them. You give them no voice, and when they take to the streets, you crush the people complaining that you're not listening to them. Well, this reminds me of a quote. When I see an actual flesh and blood worker in conflict with his natural enemy, the policeman, I do not have to ask myself which side I am on. George Orwell. So, while you sent in the Gestapo to exterminate the workers who voted for you, the racist state police fled from the ethnic minorities in Leeds, or stood by and did nothing as our streets were smashed in other places. This has led people to say there's a racist two-tier system here in this country, where the government is judging people by the colour of their skin. You have been nicknamed Two-Tier Keir, and rightly so. The establishment is bowing down to an international racist Marxism, which is why the BBC has racial quotas. It judges people by the colour of their skin, which is racism. It's also why they covered for Jimmy Savile and all the others, because the racist and sexist bigots of the BBC don't care about the kids. Well, the people are asking something of you, Starmer. Do you think this is fair, Starmer? Do you like seeing the face of crying kids, Starmer? Because if you do, a lot of other people aren't happy with this, Starmer. These are the angry people